Good morning, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Let's unlock the tricks of the trade, get to know the brilliant minds who changed their industries and created innovations that continue to influence lives. Be inspired here on Trade Talks. The digital age has started to affect the way we read with the advent of the e-book. But many still prefer reading physical books so they can actually touch and feel the pages. If you're one of them, here's your chance to acquire more books at this year's Philippine Book Festival. To tell us more about this event, here with us today is Charisse Aquino Tugade. She is the Executive Director of the National Book Development Board. Hi, Charisse. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, Mai. Thank you so much for having me again.
Yes, you were here, the Bilyonaryo News Channel last year, a few months ago lang, no? But now today, we're here to talk about the Philippine Book Festival, which is happening next week. It promises to be more than just a marketplace of literary finds, March 13 to 16, right? So what can we expect?
Oh my goodness, you can expect a big party for sure. So this is the only festival in the country that celebrates Filipino books. Programmings, you have events for families, kids, parents, just for everyone. So it will be quite exciting. We have more than 200 exhibitors this year. So you can find any genre that you want, whether it be comics, romance, fiction, non-fiction, it's all there.
Yeah, everything for everyone.
Yes.
So how many authors and publishers will be joining this event this year?
We have more than 200, and then we have authors every day that will be there. You'll meet Ricky Lee, Ambet Ocampo, all of our favorite authors
There will be
there.
meet and greets.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so who are the exciting authors today?
Okay, what genre do you want?
young
Maybe
authors.
Oh yes,
The romance.
Yes,
Let's start with the romance.
Oh my goodness, Mina Esguerra will be there of romance class. We have all of our comiceros there. If you know Paul Medina, remember Pugad Babo. You have Manix Abrera, Ronald Vivo. All the comiceros will be there represented. They actually have an entire realm dedicated to just comics. We will also have our favorites. Ambeth of Campo, of course, will be doing book signing, meet and greet. Ricky Lee. You have Danton Remoto, who wrote River Run. Chuck Berry Pasqua, who did Mars May Zombie, which was super fun. So we have everyone, anything, any type of genre that you can think of, they're all there. All of the authors and illustrators as well.
Yes, the illustrators. Let's not forget about them because it's a big space also for our illustrators aside from the authors. And this is happening at the SM Megatrade Hall. Why the change in venue?
The change in venue because it's more accessible. Right, so if you get a space in a mall, then you have not just your people that are looking for the specific fair, but you get walk-ins as well. So we wanted to try something new, and we found Mega Mall, and it was a good fit.
Yes.
So let's see, we're excited.
A good fit indeed. So this is the third edition already, right? So what is the essence of the book festival? What is the theme this year, and how has it evolved since its inception?
So originally, we set up the Philippine Book Festival because we realized many bookstores don't really carry our titles. It's quite difficult to find. And many institutional buyers, such as the Department of Education, especially if you're in areas like in the Visayas and Mindanao area, it's quite difficult to get, no? So we wanted to create a space for institutional buyers to find all of the books in one area.
Yes.
So DepEd is one of our partners. They actually purchased 925 million pesos worth of books in our last PBF. So that's such a good partnership, and now they're going to be distributing all of those books all around the libraries around the country. And aside from that, we want to start engaging families. You know, we're too into our phones. Our children are just looking and playing with their phones, right? So we wanted something that everyone can enjoy. So if you're mom, you have young kids, or you have teenagers, everyone can go, and there is something for them. And it's visually appealing. We like to make it, you know, it's not just buy. It's programming. We have a Pacquiao Pakiawan Plaza, where we have 4 illustrators that worked on a really beautiful design. So you'll see that also all throughout.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to what you said earlier. I've heard Ricky Lee talk about that recently. One of his frustrations, yung Filipino books, nasa likod ng mga bookstores, no? Hindi mahanap. Nakita na yung his book, his script writing manual. Di ba, nakita niya, nakatago with the maps. So it's very frustrating. So what should we do about that?
It's to, people will only buy what they see. So, I mean, you can't expect people to purchase books that they don't even know about. So this is that marketplace for that. It's not just for the retail audience like you and me. It's also for other bookstores to see what's out there and maybe carry it in their bookstores. And now you see the growth of all of these independent bookshops all around the country. They're starting to do it. So I'm very thankful. And the larger bookstores as well are expanding their Filipiniana sections to include many of the books that were not really noticed before, right? Like our comics, many of our children's books. We have so much, but so now it's more well represented. But of course, we really want to saturate the market.
And we have to see more of that, the independent bookstores as well. No? Oh, all right. So book fair this next week, March 13 to 16, there's an engaging space for young readers, right? So tell us more about this and the realm of children's literature here in the Philippines.
Yes, so we actually have 4 different realms. So we have Booktopia, which is your fiction and non-fiction, romance. So you have Aral Aklat, your textbooks and all of your learning materials. Yes. We have the comics land and the land for children, the realm for children. Within that land, we have a Pakiawan Plaza. So that's where you'll just see a beautiful structure. I can't tell you yet because it's a secret.
It's a surprise.
But yes, it's a surprise. Of course, for all of us. And then we do storytelling. There's some actors that will come in, but that's also a secret. So you'll find out when you go. And and then you can go to any booth and there will always be some sort of signing, some sort of activity. Kids can color, kids can talk to an author and learn about what authors do and what an illustrator does. So it's such a good bonding experience. And I find that many families that started with us in the beginning in 2023, they are now, their kids are growing. It's the 3rd year. So they're always excited to go and see what's new.
I like it that you can bring your kids to this book fair. Now, comics is big. It had a big year last year, 2024, no? So what's it like looking for Philippine graphic storytelling this time around?
Wow, so it's growing. It's growing. They say the golden age of Philippine comics was in the 1950s, but I'm seeing that growth from before. It's really has expanded to an international audience, so much so that about 60% of all our rights, book rights out of the Philippines are all comics.
Wow.
Right? So you have more than half. People are really interested in the way we illustrate and the way we do our storytelling. And you have now larger comic markets, larger comic fairs, interactions, and people are just soaking it up. And I don't know if when you were a kid, but my first my first favorite book was Archie. So that was a comic, right? That was my entry point.
Yeah, so I remember Archie, of course. I hope it's still getting an audience for this generation,
Yes.
Okay, you mentioned so many activities lined up for this book fair. It's not just meet and greets, there are also workshops and summits. So tell us about the Visual Arts Summit.
The Visual Arts Summit. So this one is with the National Commission for Culture and the Arts. For National Commission for Culture and the Arts. So we work in tandem with different organizations, right? Government organizations, the National Museum, NCCA, FDCP, which is the Film Development Council. And this one is a convergence of the visual artists all around the country and try to collaborate and create something new with the book industry.
Okay, very exciting. So the summit also has various talks like a discussion on gender inclusive voices in Philippine literature. What is this all about?
There is not enough representation, especially with LGBTQ all around the Philippines, and we want those voices heard. So we do have several programs that talk about what does the authorship look like today, what is the landscape. So we talk about all of that.
Yeah, I really want to find out about that. Okay, so other activities, walk us through registering for this event, signing up for the workshops. How do you do it?
Okay, so you just show up.
Actually,
yes,
it's free, right?
all for free for all of you.
Yes.
There is a registration. You can go to philippinebookfest.com and there is a registration, but just so you know, we just get the registration so we can have your info. But you can go in, you can walk in for free, and we'll still get your name, we'll still get your info, so we can send you all the details that you need. But yeah, please register with us so you can connect with us and know more about our programs as well. And for the workshops, some of them do have a registration because you can't have 1,000 people joining a workshop as much as we would want. So they have to register. We have all of the art cards all online at the NBDB, National Book Development Board, Facebook, and our website. And it's all there. Then they can just sign up.
It's free, March 13. Sign up, guys. And good to know, because all your money, you could dedicate that for the books that you'll be acquiring.
Yes. Spend it on books, right?
Okay, more to talk about with the National Book Development Board and their mission to create a diverse and equitable book publishing ecosystem. But first, this short break. Trade Talks, we'll be right back. You're back on Trade Talks. Still with us, Charisse Aquino Tugade of NBDB, or the National Book Development Board. So Charisse, kudos to your initiatives introducing Filipino books to a wider audience. Now, going now to another focus of the NBDB, educational materials, right? So not just textbooks, but also teachers' manuals. How's it looking like in this space?
It's growing. So there's a couple policies in the last few years that have really affected the development of textbooks. And what's quite exciting now is the Department of Education, which is the largest agency that procures textbooks, because they procure for the entire, all of the public schools. What they did is, now that they've decentralized the procurement, which means that smaller publishers from the different regions can actually bid for these textbooks and create these textbooks according to the needs of the children that live in their specific region, in the language that they understand. So that's quite an exciting development. And of course, teachers' manuals always go with the textbook, so that works hand in hand. And definitely the last few years, especially with the work of EDCOM and with the work of Secretary Angara, it's really now more aligned than ever. And with the National Book Development Board, you know, we collaborate and we discuss policy and work on ways in which the publisher and the actual buyer, for this case would be the Department of Education, can align and connect and figure out ways in which to distribute the best textbooks in the most efficient manner.
Very good. Yes, good to know that. And you also mentioned distribution. Back when you were here with us, you mentioned there is room for improvement in the distribution network.
Of course. Logistics is always a concern, especially with an island nation, right? So whether it be trade book or textbook, in the United States, you can buy a book from Amazon and get it the next day. But here it's something that really has to, I guess, we need to start improving our logistics systems and all of that, our transportation, so that goods can be moved from one area to another. Let's say you're in Batanes. How do you buy a book? There is no, there might not be those online, like Lazada or Shopee, that can service those areas. So how do we do that, right? So that's something that we definitely, all the agencies can start thinking of ways to improve that.
Yeah, everything should go hand in hand, especially we have so many far-flung areas.
Yes, Paul.
Right. Okay. So there is a growing number of self-published authors today. So what support do they need right now?
Okay, they need all the support we can get. You know, actually, there's a growth of self-published authors during COVID. And it just started growing and growing from there, no? So in terms of the support that they need, they, of course, you know, when you're writing from home and you're publishing it, no one can really check what you're doing. You don't have an editor. And that's something that is kulang definitely in the entire industry. More editors to look at the story and see where they can improve, right?
But can they publish without an editor?
Yes, if you're a self-publisher, you can, yeah, because you can publish straight digitally, you can do on-demand printing. So there's so many options right now. So it's really making sure that your book is edited well and that the story that you really want to tell comes across, right? So that's number one. Number two is the contracts of self-published authors if they start moving into kind of that larger space, right? So I noticed because there's so many freelancers, they don't necessarily know how to work on proper contracts, right? Once they start working with bigger groups or whatnot. So that's something that they need. And of course, the access to the wider distribution, right? Within the Philippines and also internationally as well.
Yeah.
So that's something that NBDB can provide most definitely.
Okay. That's what you can bridge, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about how to register with the NBDB as an author, as a publisher. What is the process? What are the requirements?
Okay, so NBDB, what we do is we register anyone in the publishing value chain. This includes author, illustrator, subject matter specialist. If you have any part in that publishing value chain, including distribution, then we can register you. Once you register, you can avail of different benefits, but you have to register first, and that's all for free. And that's all online. I mean, there is no paper. All online. You can just go to our website, National Book Development Board, and click on the QR code, type on the link, then you'll find that registration process, right? Of course, you need to have a manuscript. You know, people are writing, but if they don't publish it, then I can't call you an author. So you have to start with your manuscript. And once you have that, then we can get the ball rolling. It's quite an easy process. It's not difficult. And then you get your certificate. And this certificate is your key, right, for all of the incentives.
Exciting times for authors. Everything's online, and there's support from the NBDB.
Yes.
So what support now for authors who are looking to make their craft their main source of income?
Okay, so number one, we have the Book Institute of the Philippines, which we conceptualized in 2023. And this institute essentially is the training ground for many authors and illustrators to upscale their writing, copy editing in Filipino, marketing, pitching, all of that. So it's the entire gamut that we kind of cover, because there are no universities right now that actually have publishing courses. So that's something that later on we want to have, right? Actually, pretty soon we want to have something like that. So they can avail of that. They can avail of publishing grants. So if they want to publish,
are there many grants available?
yes, ang dami natin grants. So we have the NBDTF, which is a manuscript grant. You create a manuscript and we like it, we'll give you money, right? So we
just
have that.
start writing.
Yeah,
okay.
just start writing. We also have a publication grant. So you want to get paid for publishing? Yes, we can help you pay for your publication so you can actually start to get the ball rolling. If your book is in a different language, let's say it's in Tagalog, you want to translate it to Bisaya, you want to translate it to Ifugao, you can, because we also have a translation grant.
Wow.
So yes,
okay.
and then so now you have your book, you translated it, but you want to sell it. So you can avail of the trade fairs. You have access to all of those trade fairs that we join, not only in the Philippines but internationally as well. So we try to look at the entire value chain and see where everyone can benefit.
It's great to know. There's so much support. You just have to look at what's out there. You have to do your research because, you know, like the Philippines is brimming with so much talent. We have creative geniuses all around, no? So now let's talk about copyright. How can novelists protect the copyright of their books? And do you think our laws are sufficient to protect them?
You know, IPOFIL is very, very aggressive now in training about copyright and just protecting your IP. So number one is just making sure that authors, especially new authors, have proper contracts, right? And there are actual courses and workshops for that, so authors know how to navigate that space, right? Because it's quite a, you know, if you're not used to the jargon, it can be quite daunting. So that one, so again, IPOFIL, I'm so very thankful. They're one of our partners. And kind of, we hold hands in this industry. They can also, you know, people also need to be a little bit more aware that just because it's creative doesn't mean that it was easy to do, and it does take some time to create. So they need to be aware that they can't just Xerox copy a book, right? In school, I remember you need Xerox na lang, and there's a Xerox copy, you know, right beside the classrooms, and that's something that we don't want, right? You buy the book, right? Because someone worked very hard on that. But that's something I think in the consciousness of everyone. Everyone has to start being conscious about that.
But now there is AI. Artificial intelligence is also a concern for many authors. So how can they compete with the technology and also protect their work?
AI, there is no heart, right? It's all systems. But I was quite concerned. I actually did. I had a meeting, and 5 of the authors said, "Oh, you know, AI helped me write, but it's still my thought. But it was AI who wrote it." Then I said, "You know, if you use AI, you do not own that IP anymore. It is out of your hands because AI had generated it." So there still needs to be, number one, education on what AI can do, right?
Definitely.
AI cannot, AI should not be writing for you. You should be if you're an author, the idea and the thought and just kind of going through all that has to come from you. I actually wrote a letter, I think it was a few weeks ago, and I sent it to all of the big organizations because I want to know where everyone's at and what policies we can start creating in protecting our creatives. I know AI has wonderful uses. You know, you want to create a database or you want to do that. But when it starts, you know, touching on our creative industries, that might be that is scary for me.
Okay, something more exciting coming up this October. Before we let you go, I'd like to ask about how preparations are going for the Frankfurt Book Festival, the biggest and the oldest in the world, and we are, the Philippines' guest of honor.
Yes,
right?
we're guest of honor, my goodness. So it's a lot of preparation because we have a 2,000 square meter pavilion, we have our national stands, but what we're really trying to do is we're trying to pump up the industry for that rights trade, right? So every day is a conversation with the publishers on how they want to be able to market their books, and working with publishers and agents internationally and seeing what titles they want to pick up from the Philippines. So Frankfurt is the gateway, but we're also going through different fairs around the world because there are many different markets, right?
Yes.
So we have Abu Dhabi, so we go through that Arabic market. We also go to Bologna Children's Book Fair, which is in a few weeks. And we also have the Leipzig Book Fair in Germany. But there's so many others. We just did Angoulême, which is in France, and that is a comics book fair. So but really, our main goal is to ensure that our publishing industry thrives and that Filipinos are aware of the products that we have.
Correct.
So Philippine Book Festival.
Filipino stories opening up to more territories and regions. Thank you so much for joining us today, Charisse.
Thank you so much, Mai.
More power and good luck. And that is today's show. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Stay up to date on the inspiring stories of entrepreneurs and innovators and the secrets to their success only here on Trade Talks. Stay with BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.